the Radio Forest Podcast.
Gary.
Yes, mate.
40th anniversary of Listen Like Thieves. This is huge, man.
I know, isn't it? Can you believe it's 40 years? I really can't.
Tell me about producer Chris Thomas. I mean, this guy is massive. Dark Side of the Moon, the Beatles' White Album. This is the first time you guys work with him on this album. Did you just say, hey, whatever this guy says, if it's good enough for the Beatles and Pink Floyd, it'd be hard to argue with him in the studio, right?
Well, exactly. I mean, we brought him in as and he was a hard taskmaster. As we always used to joke, he was like having the headmaster with you at all times. But we picked him because his history, and as you say, the Beatles and Pink Floyd, the Sex Pistols, the Pretenders, and for us, the big one was early Roxy music. Because as the Farris brothers, we used to play early Roxy music songs to learn how to play. Yeah, that was a really big part for us. But we got him on board because even more so, he's a song producer, which is a rare thing. You know, like to have someone who really can help with songwriting and arrangement. And once he signs off on that, you know you got a good song.
So did he hop on songs at all and be like, hey, I was thinking on the bass, maybe play something like this? Because he's also a pretty good musician. Again, like you said, he's got different skills than the average producer. So did he hop on any instruments at all, either on the album or just to kind of show you guys in the studio?
He'd never pick up an instrument, but he'd just sit with you and let you, like, make a suggestion and let you evolve, because he didn't want to, like, really impose himself, because he trusted us as players. Like, he came and saw us in concert and said, it's like there's two INXSs. There's the INXS Live that's really powerful and gels, and the INXS in the studio that's a bit more fragmented and kind of, I guess, kind of crazy. And we agree with him to a large degree. So for that album, he had us play and rehearse the songs, the demos, doing it completely live in the studio. So that's the thing with Chris is that he brings like a pedigree that you can't ignore. And as far as him, influencing people's parts, he would just make a little suggestion and he'd work on it, and then all of a sudden he'd go, it gels more, with this and that. It was just minor part, very small, because we knew what we were doing, but very small inclinations towards this or that.
Talking about your live show impressing him, didn't it also impress Freddie Mercury? Like, didn't you guys open for them and they're like, hey, you got to come on tour with us? Is that true?
Yeah, we supported them at Wembley Stadium last minute because they did a couple of nights at Wembley Stadium, and then the first band that opened the first night didn't go down well, got pelted off stage with all sorts of vegetables and kitchenware. And then we got asked last minute, you want to do it? We went, absolutely. So we went up there and played, and then Freddie came all the way around Wembley Stadium to our dressing room, and he's ready with his microphone stand, and he dressed to go on stage, and just, which is very rare for someone of his magnitude to do that. So he loved it, and next thing you know, we were invited to go on tour around Europe with him, which was just, for a band of blokes from Australia, from Sydney, touring with Queen. The invitation of Queen was like, heaven, a dream come true.
Now, what about being in Australia? What about AC/DC? I had heard that did they play your school, like a school dance or something like that? And that must have been over the top.
Yeah, they played, it's called the Forestville Bop. Forestville, like, we grew up in French's Forest, and the next suburb is Forestville, and they basically, our school dance was always at the Folly Bop, as we called it, the Forestville Bop. And they played there. So when in 74 or 73, so as a young kid, I'm seeing AC/DC play, set up on a wooden floor with their gigantic Marshalls, and once I saw that, there was no turning back. I mean, you've got to get into rock and roll after seeing that.
Oh, my gosh, I couldn't imagine. And tell me about GGB basses. You make your own basses, and when I say you make your own basses, like you're designing your own pickups, you're soldering, you're doing this all, right?
Yeah, I did. I studied woodwork at school and then electronics for about a couple of years after school until music took over. But that's what a bass is. It's wood and electronics. So, I've been working on my pickup design since I've been living in America for 20 years, but I started way back when I was in Australia. So I finally designed it, got it right, patented it about 4 years ago, and built 10 prototypes myself, and now I have a company near where I live here in Carlsbad, California, in Orange County, that they hand build them for me. So, they're out. GGB Basses, they're out there right now, ggbbasses.com. So I'm very happy with them. So it's another part of my journey.
And I saw a shot of your pedal board. It's pretty impressive, especially for a bassist. You don't typically think of a bassist having a pedal board. That's like these guys that are shredding on the guitar. But yours is quite massive. What kind of effects or sounds do you like to incorporate live on stage, whether it was with INXS or with your band Ashen Moon?
Well, INXS, I kept it pretty simple. I mean, it was just choruses, and I did use a synthesizer pedal, because I use synthesizer in the studio for What You Need and Need You Tonight. And with INXS, that was kind of the most out there I get, would be to use a synthesizer that I played with a bass. But with Ashen Moon, because it's a 4-piece and it's my music, I wrote it, I can really sort of venture out and be more adventurous. But I'm building boards. I'm working with a guy in Australia from a company called Mostronics, and he's designed 2 pedals that he's putting together right now. Like, he sent through the circuit designs yesterday. So it's kind of exciting. I've always been a bit of a tinkerer, a bit of a not a nerd, but just I love pulling things apart and rebuilding them, because by necessity, as a young bass player with INXS, I'd have to buy the cheapest bass I could find and pull it apart and try and make it better, because I couldn't afford good ones.
Now, you mentioned What You Need, and I had heard the song almost didn't come together. Listen Like Thieves is basically done, and producer Chris Thomas is like, you guys, I need a hit. Go write a hit, and then you do. That's insane.
Well, as you said before, like when whatever Chris Thomas says goes, and he says we need another song, we're like, okay. And we went back and re-listened to the demos, and Tim went, I think Andrew's got that song, Funk something or other. And so we went back and listened to it, went, yep. And then just Michael Andrew disappeared into a corner and wrote What You Need, and then we recorded it, had it recorded in an hour, a couple of takes, and then we mixed it, and it was ready to go. So the freshness of it, you can hear it today, but that's because it was done in kind of record time. But that's Chris Thomas had the wherewithal to realise that we needed a hit, and we wrote one, our first top 5 in America.
40th anniversary of Listen Like Thieves is out now. You can even get it on vinyl. Gary Beers from INXS. Gary, thanks for talking to me today, man. I love the album.
Thanks, fellas. It's great to talk to you, and hope things are good. Great down in Boise.
Things are going good. How does it feel as an Australian living in America? Do you tell people, well, I'm not American, I'm Australian, but I live in America? Or do you just tell people, yeah, I'm part of this too, I'm an American?
Yeah, America's been a big part of my life. I've been coming here since '83, and also if I look at my musical influences, a lot of it was America, and a lot of stuff was English bands loving America as well, like Zeppelin singing about going to California, and so it was always this mythical place. And to come here in '83, instead of going to UK like all Australian bands did in the day, we came here because that was our musical influence to the American groove. So it's great living here. I've got my 13-year-old twins, so it's great to be part of the American culture. Interesting times now, but it'll all get better.
Well, Gary, thanks again, man. It's been great to talk to you today.
Thank you, mate. All the best.